Thanks very much for coming through.
You're welcome.
Ted, let's start with the stage 1 load shedding. You did see it, shedding rather. You did see it coming. Eskom insists that, yes, it's a reality, but only for the next 2 to 3 years.
Absolutely not. I've gone public on this, and it seems like the angels have heard my talk. This load shedding will be with us, and this is a mild form. It will be with us in a more severe form for up to 16 hours a day for the next 5 years.
Why do you say so?
Eskom's run out of coal. That's the first thing. So what they're doing at the moment is they're scavenging around the market for a low-grade coal, and that low-grade coal has got contaminants in the form of rock. Those rocks are causing more problems on the furnaces because they explode inside the furnaces and they burst the high-pressure pipes. And so it's an ongoing vicious cycle of deterioration.
But do they have alternatives?
Absolutely. Eskom was warned 10 years ago when I published my report that they need to open up new coal mines. They need to open up, I said, 20 new coal mines, which is roughly 100 million tons of coal a year. And the fact is they said they're going to open 40. The record is that they've opened up 0. And it takes at least 5 years to open up your first new coal mine. So that's why I'm saying on the basis of that, it's going to be 5 years plus of darkness ahead of us.
Yeah, but that's the history that has brought us to where we are. Yes, people didn't listen to, advice that they were given. They did not act soon enough. Yes, there's ample evidence of state capture and corruption, but we're here now. We're here. Is there something that they can do to avert the worse crisis than you are saying they are telling us?
The only thing available now is, on the coal side, is to declare a national emergency and to curtail the export of coal. That will take a couple of tricks because it's not the right quality coal, as well as it will make a massive dent on our balance of payments and send the rand plummeting, which is what we don't want. But in the short term, that's the only emergency step that they still have ahead of them. Other than that, all they can do is ask for you and me to stay off the grid.
If government was able to come to their rescue, saw the CEO yesterday saying, look, the reality is that we need to borrow. Do you think government will be able to come to their rescue?
Well, it seems to me the treasury is empty. In other words, the pantry is empty. And the problem with Eskom is even if they borrow, the money disappears out the back door. And that's a big, big problem. The borrowings are over 400 billion at the moment. And the net asset value that they've achieved over the last 10 years, the borrowings plus the tariff hikes, which equate to 1.4 trillion rand that Eskom has had in additional income, has disappeared out the door, and all they've got to show is half-baked power stations worth, on the market value, less than 100 billion rand. So there's been a 1.3 trillion rand leakage out the back door of Eskom. And we need to have a forensic investigation to see why it went out, who stole the money, and how we're going to get it back. Short of that, there's no answer.
You're perhaps correct, but do you not believe them when they give the assurance that they are cleaning?
No.
They are cleaning up, that they are identifying the culprits, and they are closing the net and closing the tap.
The chairman said yesterday, and I quote him, "It's no use crying over spilt milk. We need to increase the tariffs and move forward." So Eskom is wiping this whole disaster under the carpet. It's a political maneuver to let those people who perpetrated this crime go scot-free. There's no political will to sort out this mess. Believe you me, it's been 10 months, and I mean, it's a joke the number of people that they've fingered so far. The corruption is endemic. It's from top to bottom. And in fact, it's still ongoing week by week. I still report to certain Eskom executives new crimes that I'm aware of, and nothing happens.
But isn't the State Capture Commission an attempt to try and find out what actually happened, while at the same time those who are in charge, both politically and within Eskom, try to make sure that none of what has happened, what happened previously, actually happens? Isn't that what the period we are in is about?
Notionally, you're correct. But if the patient refuses to go to the hospital, there's not much the doctor can do. And that's where we are.
So which hospital should they be going to?
Eskom needs to sort out the corruption, identify it, take it to the Zondo Commission, and hopefully they can sanction some sort of penalty. But if Eskom itself is truant, then there's not much it can do.
But what is it that they are not doing now? that which you insist is what needs to be
do
done.
a forensic
Because
investigation.
everyone is like, I mean, well, they, at least the politicians, and the ESCOM is going before, is appearing next week. One way that is what they are doing, what you're saying needs to be done. Now, what I'm asking is there something else that you believe practically needs to be done still, here and now, to avert the crisis you're saying that we're getting into, which you are saying they are grossly understating?
Absolutely. They need to stop the stealing. And the only way to stop the stealing is to identify where the holes are in the bucket.
Which they say is what they are doing.
No, they haven't done a forensic. They keep on saying they're prepared to do a forensic, but they haven't done one. So the fact of the matter is, if you don't do a diagnosis, you don't know where you're losing the money, where the holes are in the bucket. So until that, really, I mean, with respect, the ESCOM board is treating us like a bunch of imbeciles. They're playing chess with us and running away as soon as we appear at the door. The fact of the matter is, anybody with a common sense and a sense of responsibility would have called for a full forensic audit. More so if you're a novice on the board and you don't even know which sector you're in.
What choices are consumers left with if the crisis you're saying is going to be worse than ESCOM is stating it?
Get off the grid. There's only one answer, is get off the grid as best you can. That will help ESCOM, it will relieve the pressure, and you'll at least be able to remain sane because you'll be in charge of your own destiny. This thing of rolling blackouts 17 hours a day, which is what stage 8 blackouts are if you go and look at the schedules, it'll drive people mad. Because it will happen at any time of the day, any time of the night.
Tadbro, that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks very much for coming through.